I am so excited. We have Jeff McCord from the Moxie Mo Show tonight.
Moxie Mo? Really?
Really? Who knew computability could be so moxie?
You did it.
So, get to know Moxie Mo. That's what tonight's show is all about. And before we get to know Moxie Mo, we're going to get to know one of our affiliate partners that Jill's going to tell you a little bit about.
Let's get to know Mosey for about 30 seconds.
Yes, Mosey.
Mosey.
Yes, Moxie Mosey.
Moxie Mosey.
Yeah.
Mosey protects all of your computer's files, so you do need to get to know it. It has backup solutions for PCs and Macs and home and business users. It's easy to use, very secure, and doesn't interfere with the performance of your computer, which is really nice. Mosey runs automatically in the background, meaning you don't ever have to worry about your backups. You just set it and forget it, like Ron Popeil. And if you get stuck, Mosey has a very knowledgeable and friendly support staff available 24/7, 365. And you can get 15% off of Mosey Home or Mosey Pro backup at compute-ability.com/deals. And sleep sounder tonight, knowing your data is safe.
Oh, I'm glad that I got to know Mo about that. Now, speaking of Mo...
Mo? You said Mo?
Mo? What do you know? We have Moxie Mo on the show.
What a show with Moxie Mo.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so tonight we have Jeff McCord. Now, just letting you know, if you haven't met Jeff McCord in the past, if you haven't seen him...
Then where have you been?
Where have you been? And I'm going to give you a little taste of him before we bring him on, because you know something. A taste
of him,
Yes, you get to have a taste of him because
I've heard he's delicious.
Yes, but he's an acquired flavor. So we're going to go ahead and pull up a little video here. If I can press the right button.
Okay, cool.
There we go. Here is Jeff in action.
Welcome to the Moxie Mo Show. I'm Jeff McCord. We recently covered the top videos, Twitter trends, and top apps of 2010, and now it's time to give you the top 5 gadgets to look forward to in 2011. 2011 promises to bring you new technology you've never seen, a new smartphone that we've all been waiting for, and our #1 gadget could cause a war in 2011. The new tech could be so moxie.
Okay, so we knew tech could be so moxie. In fact, we like the computability about it.
Yeah.
But I say computability, he says moxie, and we're going to bring on Jeff McCord right now. So how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm so good. I have to tell you, I made sure that I wore my glasses and didn't shave, because otherwise we could be twins.
Yeah. Heard a rumor that you said there would be 2 bald people on tonight.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, if they're not, that's it's true. I'm the bald one. No.
Well, I know one of us isn't.
No.
Well, yeah, there you go. Jill, you were not. That's for sure.
But I'd shave my head if you guys gave enough donations.
Yes, please don't.
So we do have a lot in common, okay? First of all, we both have shiny foreheads, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay? But we both love tech, and and we both are on the Meviotech.
Yeah.
And so I've been watching you for a while now. You do a great tech podcast, and what I want to know is, and I think what a lot of people want to know is, how did you get started in this? I mean, you just came out of the blue, and next thing you know, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, we've got the Moxie Mo Show.
Well, I actually, well, thank you. I started 2008. I think you said earlier on your show we have a mutual friend. My first podcast I had ever watched was 2008. I've always been into computers and technology. I recruited for IT for 10, 11 years at the time, but never thought of doing a podcast, and Lord thought, no one would ever watch me to begin with. But Callie Lewis on Geek Brief at the time was the first podcast I had watched. She happens to live in Dallas, and I thought, this is a person with probably the #1 most watched podcast in the world.
Yeah.
And she lives in my city. What's the chance I could ever meet her?
Oh.
And lo and behold, about a week later, she and her husband at the time, Neil, invited me, and I came over to their house, and we started talking. And coincidentally, after that, I started my show, and it took about a good year, but it hit pretty big after that, and continued to keep growing. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be on another Mevio show, and I've been with Mevio now, I guess, since 2008, and we'll be hitting our 200th episode probably in 2 weeks.
Cool, 200 episodes. See, I don't keep track of my episodes. I just keep doing them, and next thing you know. But you've got episode numbers. You're gonna do anything special for your 200th show?
I am. I actually have some talks with Mevio, as well as maybe a sponsor or two. I'd like to give away something pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, I will do that. I've been known to give away a few gadgets here and there. But yeah, 200 is a pretty big deal. So, I mean,
cool.
Podcasting world. But yeah, we'll be giving away some fun stuff.
Well, once you, I'll make sure to retweet you, and so be checking. Please follow him, so you can on Twitter, so you can know all about these giveaways. What's your Twitter?
My Twitter's at Moxie Mo, and then I have a personal Twitter, which is at Jeff McCord.
I got it.
Okay.
Solid word.
Okay, cool. Now, your show is called Moxie Mo. Your name is Jeff McCord. And so there's a little disconnect there. So now I know Moxie was a drink that's still around, really. And so to be Moxie is to, I don't know, to have a little oomph, little goodness, a little excitement. And so you've named your show Moxie, and Mo is the guy on Mo, Larry, Curly, Three Stooges. But you do it with an M-O. So what does Moxie Mo really mean to you?
Well, it's a long, probably very boring story for your viewers. Moxie is something that my college friends, and this is circa 1996, 97, we would say Moxie kind of in passing, as in, the cool person on campus, which was kind of ironically never me. But we would say that person has Moxie. So, that person has verve, that person's got the it factor. And it's just been in our vernacular ever since. And, that's 10, 12 years ago. And it kind of morphed when I moved to Dallas in 2004. A lot of my coworkers would just call me Moxie. And then Moxie Mo somehow morphed into that, and that became a nickname. So I thought, this could be a cool way to do my podcast. Jeff McCord's a little bit boring for me, but Moxie Mo, it's all about technology, and it's what's cool in technology from my perspective. As you know, in the business, we have probably a bajillion podcasts to talk about IT or technology.
Yeah.
So I needed to do something that was different and had my niche. And my niche that I guess I've been pretty successful with is talking about the hottest, coolest, fun things in technology, whether that's gadgets or social media, and the latest and greatest with technology news, and putting that onto a Moxie level.
And I think that's what Moxie is.
I like that. It became
it's
it's like a word, like Google. It's an adjective. You bring it to the Moxie level. I mean, it can apply. I love that.
Yes, me too. Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it came about.
Yes, and it's you're supposed to have fun with technology.
Yep.
And it's exciting. And, there was a certain time where I guess geeks were sort of known as people who are delving in the really boring stuff and zeros and ones and programming. But, if you can find the fun angle in it and see the new and exciting and what it can do for you, you're going to find the Moxie in pretty much anything, really.
Yes.
And so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the Moxie in life, the Moxie in technology, and you bring it to people in a weekly podcast.
Yeah, that's it. You said it perfect.
Okay, good.
Wow.
I'm glad I did something right tonight. Yes. So, now, we all start as these geeks, and we're geek larvae. Okay? And so we need to be exposed to technology sooner or later. So what brought on the transition? I want people to know who Jeff McCord is, and what was the thing that started you on tech? Like, do you still have your first computer? What excited you first about technology, and how did you start getting excited about it?
Well, actually, I'm going to geek myself out to probably some friends that are watching. My dad worked for IBM my entire childhood. He was worked, I think, there for about 30-something years. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and so my entire childhood, I was, the guy trying to be cool, trying to be popular, which clearly that did not happen, but always had an interest in computing and computers. Now, I did not major in MIS, or I don't have the expertise in my profession like you do in technology. But back in the day, I'm sure you remember bulletin board systems, good old BBSs. I had a couple of those running when I was my teenage years, and then in college, it was just something that computers were just part of my life. And now if you talk to, whether it's my coworkers, my best friends, my family, I've always been that guy that's been interested in the latest and greatest when it comes to gadgets. So it's just something that is, the show is a hobby because I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Which has its challenges because I don't get to do this, full-time, even though I probably could.
Right.
I haven't. I also produce the show by myself, so it's literally me that does all the research. It's me that does all the post-production, which can take. That's probably the longest part of it. But back to your question, I just have always had an interest in technology and specifically gadgets.
What was your first computer system?
It was an IBM PC Junior.
Okay.
And I don't even know if it could play a game. I don't even remember it being that powerful, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But my dad, working for IBM, would never let me have anything that was non-IBM in the house.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is, we're in Boca Raton, which is the home of the PC. It's where IBM got its start.
Yeah.
So, we're living in the hatchery of where PCs were. In fact, I used to go to yard sales and find PC Juniors sitting, at these people's houses, and they've got, they used to work for IBM, and they were all over the place, about like 10 years ago, you'd find those things. So I've messed around with PC Junior. Do you still have your PC Junior?
I don't.
No?
It was, after that, we got some other type of, I can't even remember, some other IBM computer, and unfortunately, I think we either gave it away or threw it away or something. But yeah, I wish I kept it, but I
don't. It'd be worth $100,000 now.
I'm telling you. Yeah. What was the name of your bulletin board system?
Oh, Lord. Now you're dating me.
Don't worry, we're dating ourselves.
Dating me isn't old. I don't even remember. I had one. I grew up in a suburb of Tulsa called Broken Arrow. I mean, it's the Oklahoma thing, right? And our mascot was tigers. So I had Tigers BBS was one. And then I've always been interested. My other passion, which I think is pretty geeky in itself, has been weather. So I had a weather bulletin board system, talked about weather back in the day. I even remember trying to make like JPEGs, or I think at the time they were, GIFs, pictures of making it look like I had a real radar on my BBS.
Okay.
Like some kid's going to have a radar system, a Doppler radar in his home.
What computer were you using for that?
I don't even remember. It was pathetic. I think now if I saw it, I'd probably wish it was never even around. And then I think after that, this was back when The Simpsons were, people my age. I'm 33, almost 34. So The Simpsons were the thing back when I was young. So I think I even did a Simpsons BBS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
See, that is totally geeky, and I love that.
That's impressive.
I love that. I lived in Florida. I live in Florida right now, and the name of our name of mine was the surfboard.
Yeah.
You know, it was an appropriate thing, and
Of course.
there was a show called Santa Barbara on, and there was somebody
Wasn't
named
that
Cruz Castile. And so my name was Cruz. I used that as my name back then.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
we have something in common again.
Yeah, yeah.
isn't that a soap opera though?
It was a soap opera. Yeah, yeah.
Yikes.
What can I say?
Did you watch a
it's all-
soap opera?
Santa Barbara was pretty good. It's pretty racy too, so you know.
Oh, heavens to me.
I don't know.
It's okay.
It was geek fun. So
Yes.
let's bring us from the past to where you're going right now. So, okay, so as far as technology goes, where are you with technology? I know you love the new gadgets and stuff, but what are some of your favorite gadgets that you actually own and that you're using on a regular basis these days?
Well, obviously, I've kind of devoted myself. So, Windows and IBM machines were my life. I rebelled in more ways than one, but I now am probably the biggest Apple fan.
No!
Say my
No! Say it isn't so, Moxie Mo!
Oh, no.
So this is, my favorite gadget of all, my iPad. And then I use this on a daily occurrence, my iPhone. But, so I've definitely switched to Apple, not ever thinking I would.
Okay.
But I have to admit, that's been my biggest. I've had every iPhone you can think of. I will have every iPad that they will make.
Yeah.
And I'm on my third iMac with my MacBook behind me.
So would you allow yourself to be called a fanboy?
Absolutely.
Oh,
No
you
doubt
are.
about it.
He's proud.
About it. Yes. So yeah, I went from Windows swearing I would never touch a Mac.
Okay.
Never thought they were anything big. And then right when I started my podcast, in fact, I started it on the MacBook you see behind me. So I've never come back since.
When Callie was on the show, she definitely wanted me to go the way of the Apple, okay? And
Yes.
it just hasn't happened. I'm sorry. It has not happened yet. But
I see you're a Dell fan, right?
a what? No, not Dell. No, I'm not a Dell fan.
I thought I saw Dell Dell monitors. Maybe that's
No, you see them
Oh,
because
yeah, we might have gotten a donation from a client when they were something.
not
We'll take a free anything.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing I've liked about PCs. You can Frankenstein them together, okay? And so you have this thing going, me PC, me work, And so I'm okay with that. And that's what I've been able to afford. And actually, because I've been a computer technician all these years, what's going to break first, okay? Where am I going to make my money? Is it going to...
a PC running Windows. That's obvious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And back in the day when Millennium was running, boy, those were good times.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
So, do you work on Apple machines at all?
No,
We
I
have
don't.
a couple clients.
Occasionally, I've been known to eat an
That's
apple
it.
pie, and I've had a few Big Macs in my time. So that's as far as I've gone. But no, I've networked them. I set them up for some people. I open up the box and turn them on, and that's pretty much all. You connect them to the internet. You get a couple printers going. That's pretty much all you need to do with the Mac. So
Yeah, it's true.
it's good out of the box.
So I am definitely the Mac fanboy. But with my show and with what I talk about, I can't afford to just focus on all things Apple. Even though Apple pretty much dominates the headlines, I would say. But so yeah, that's me in a nutshell when it comes to my computing ability.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah, well, I think your computing ability is very Moxie, so I appreciate it very much. Now, let's talk about your podcast for a second, because I mean, it was like a jack in a box. You just, bam, you're up and going. You went pretty fast. You had a head start because you had a little Callie Lewis,
That's awesome.
information to get going on this, and
she rocks the house, by the way.
Yeah, she does. She absolutely rocks, and you're a very focused kind of person. And so, what do you have to make your show? Because you have your show seems like it's an HD.
It is.
The quality of the audio is really good. You've got a green screen. Can you tell everyone a little bit about your setup and what you have?
Sure. So, starting out, if you go to MoxieMoShow.com, you'll notice, my first 50 episodes are just using my eyesight camera and my Mac, and they're horrible. I hate them. I don't even like watching them. But when I had the opportunity to become friends with Callie and her ex-husband Neil, Neil did all the Geek Brief TV show from a production standpoint. So he gave me some pointers, but in all reality, I had to learn this myself. So what I did was, it takes a few shows. It takes, I've always been, thankfully, very comfortable in front of a camera. I'm very comfortable talking to people. I don't think that, comes across any other way. But with that said, it definitely takes practice. And where it takes practice is post-production. So I appreciate the compliments, because I do get those compliments that my show looks good, it's short, it's, brief, and, it's pretty, I would say, produced pretty well.
Yeah,
and other than that, I still have a lot to grow and to learn on. But I have a green screen behind me, as you guys can see.
Is it painted, or do you use...
Yeah, it's painted on the wall.
Okay, so you bought some paint and you painted it yourself.
Yep, I bought some professional green screen paint for my wall when I moved here in this condo. When I was at my other apartment, it was a blue screen that was more paper material.
Right.
So I have a professional green screen painted on my wall, and then obviously the biggest thing I learned through other podcasters who I looked up to, obviously Geek Brief, Techzilla, some of the big podcasts out there.
Right.
Was audio. So audio has got to be your number one thing.
Audio is the hardest to get right, too. It really is.
It's intangible. You can't touch audio. You just have to trial and error and then tape and whatever. So.
Right, and the biggest mistake a lot of people make if they do come into podcasting, there's two things I tell everybody. A, you can't go into it for the money, because you're not going to make money immediately.
Right.
Right.
And, the few of us who are successful with it, and it's been a blessing from God about it, and that's all props to Medio, as well as to all the hard work we do. But you can't go into it for money. The second thing is it has to be your audio. And, I was doing an HD. I bought a Canon HV30. So 1080 HD, but if your audio doesn't work and you don't have a good microphone,
right,
you're going to get slammed in a heartbeat. And trust me, I did. I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
So I had to get my audio pretty perfected. You can spend, $10,000 these days on the latest and greatest, wireless microphones. I actually just use a lapel microphone that's wired. And it plugs into my Canon HV30.
So you're using an XLR microphone. So,
exactly.
So you're able to get the balanced audio throughout. It's a wire, so you don't have to worry about plugging it in. As far as battery power, it goes directly into your camera, so you don't have to worry about having a mixer. And so and you're using a nice HD, so you're going to be combining both at the same time, and the timing is going to be right, because sometimes when you're doing audio, your lips aren't matching up with the video, right? And having to correct that after the fact is a really big pain. So you go ahead, and when you're doing your recording, what are you doing as far as teleprompter, or of course you're doing all this research, and how long does it take you to do the research for?
So I've gotten to a mode of what I would consider my perfection. Don't take that cocky or wrong. I am definitely not a Geek Brief or a Geek Beat, as her show's called now. But I don't want to be. That's not, my job's to do my show. So I'm not trying to copy anybody. I'm trying to just be me.
That's
and that's
the
where
way
I
to
think I
do
finally
it.
got the success and I hit it off once I got that, where I just need to be myself.
Well,
Right.
when you say perfect, you just mean you found your formula, your Moxie formula, I think,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's just more about being myself. And going back to your question, I didn't have a prompter, because they cost money at the time. And this is right when I first started off. And then, as you kind of said, basically, it was probably right into my first year. I literally just, by the grace of God, hit it off. And next thing I know, I was getting 200,000 people downloading my show. So it just went from what I would call very mediocre to, wow, okay, this is great. And then with that, the money comes with sponsors. And so back to your question, now I use a ProPrompter. It's actually a company that makes teleprompters on the iPhone. So right above my camera is where I will read all of my, my text is on my ProPrompter here on my iPhone. So when you see me, you can't tell that I'm reading because it's literally right above my camera. But I do all my show now. I write my show. I research my show. That takes probably 2-3 hours, depending on how much content or lack of content there may be. This week's been a pretty slow week in tech news, in my opinion.
It really has been.
Yeah, I mean, CES is, you have all the material you'll need for a month. And then February, it kind of slows down, and then Apple typically will do a launch. They're about to launch iOS 4.3. It looks like February 14th. So those are things I'm kind of looking at now. And now it takes
South by Southwest also.
Yeah, that's true. South by Southwest is obviously a huge event, especially in Texas. So, but now it takes probably 4 or 5 minutes to do the show. I don't have as many mess ups as I used to when I wasn't doing a teleprompter. And then the hard work literally is in post-production. That can take 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes.
And what are you using? What software are you using for that?
I use Final Cut, which I had to teach myself on. So I've had no professional training or any help in that regard. So that was probably the biggest challenge. And, if you have podcasters listening, that's you want to find whether it's a Windows software or a Mac software. You want to find something that's really good in post-production.
Yeah, and see, what we do is we do basically one take, and we do everything in pre-production, and so when we go to do the recording, we've already got all this stuff up on the screen, and so we're not doing a lot of editing afterwards. But sometimes we'll make a mistake, and we need to add in a commercial where we forgot to do it, or the audio doesn't line up, or something just happens.
It happens every once in a while.
Right, and then using a PC, and I'm not recommending a PC for doing a lot of the editing, because really the best program is Final Cut for doing this type of thing.
For sure.
Because I use a combination of programs, and not one program seems to do the job for me. I mean, I use Vegas Pro.
Yeah,
which
is really good. I've used that.
Yeah, it gives a nice result.
Coca-Cola Spot.
Yes, Coca-Cola Spot. Yes. Have a Coke and a smile.
And he's got a gorgeous smile. If you don't mind me saying, completely off point, your teeth are perfect, man. Jeez.
Thank you.
Yes, he uses.
I'm jealous.
He uses porcupine brills for it. Imported.
That was really weird, Scott.
Yeah, well, I never said I was normal.
No.
But
neither did anyone else.
Getting back into like what we use. One program I've used like 5 different programs. One of them is the Adobe program. I forgot what it's called. Adobe Premiere, I think.
Premiere. Yep.
Yeah. Which is it's like driving a jumbo jet, and it's really hard to find out the information because they've got so many different versions of it. So I would recommend, if you're going to be doing a lot of editing, then go ahead and do it that way. But we use for our stream we use Wirecast, and so we're able to record and do everything all at the same time, so in broadcast. So that works for us. So there's different ways of accomplishing the same thing, but you upload to Mevio, so you can find all of your stuff on Mevio.
Yep. I actually am a signed producer with Mevio, Blinks, and Tech Podcast Network, which is TPN for short. So, but Mevio has been where I've always started out. I love Mevio. They've had I think you and I talked about this earlier in the week. Mm-hmm. We have a really good family of podcasters, and that's not just in tech. That's obviously in Mevio Men, Mevio Women, Mevio Music, and it's just it's a great company, and it's a great lineup. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of Mevio. And the other key to success with podcasting is hopefully you can find your niche, you find what you love doing, and then you just get the word out there. So
cool.
That's been my story.
And you're sticking to it.
And I'm sticking to it, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'd love to have you back on the show. Is there anything in the future we should know about what you're up to, or anything?
I'm basically doing the same. Just trying to continue with the show, trying to put more content out there. Like I said, my 200th episode is going to be coming up, so that's a big level of where I wanted to. I never thought I would make it to 200 shows, but I'm excited about that. And then we have a lot of big news coming out, like we always do, with some tablets. So I'm hoping to get my hands on some, whether it's iPad 2 or the Zoom or the BlackBerry Playbook, etc. So doing some gadget reviews in that regard. And then social media, I think, has been the moxiest and the hottest topic lately, with Egypt and everything that's going on over there. I've been kind of preaching, I would say, the last 6-7 months about Twitter and Facebook and kind of their role in really taking the spotlight from all the news agencies. And I'm glad to see, in a way, that all the stuff we've been talking about on my show about Twitter and its relevance is actually coming to fruition if you look at it. So that's where I've been focusing on, and obviously we will be bringing everything that we feel, the Moxie technology news to everybody that will watch.
Cool. Well, I'm going to continue to watch your show, and
Me too.
And you better watch mine too, because I'm over at Mevio, and we always post our stuff over there too, and we just appreciate you coming over. I'm glad to have you on the show because we are a fan, and it's always nice to meet a fellow geek. So,
well, I absolutely feel the same way. You guys are doing a great job. As I said, live podcasting, I would absolutely fail at it. So
you just did it.
Well, thanks to you guys.
And you did it beautifully.
Well, thank you.
Well,
I appreciate you guys having me on, and want to say hello to all your watchers and listeners and viewers. So thanks a lot.
So please follow you. What's your Twitter address again?
Absolutely.
My Twitter is @Moxie Mo. It's MOXIE and then MO. And then Facebook, I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/Moxie Mo Show. And then obviously you can watch the the podcast on my website at moxiemoshow.com.
So please check him out. Thank you very much. And we're going to be signing out. Now, when we sign out, I always say happy computing. What's your sign out, by the way?
I usually I think out of all my 100, and I just taped a show right before it came on tonight, I always say, everyone have a good night, and as always, I'll talk to you very soon.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our sign-off, and then you're going to...
I have one, too.
Yeah, she has one, too.
But I'll be the last one.
You'll be the last one?
I'm going to be the last one.
Okay. I thought he was going to be the last one.
Okay, fine. He can be the last one.
Yes. He'll be the last. I'll be first.
Fine.
Okay.
I'm not in the mood to argue.
Okay. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
How about I be the first one?
You can be the first one. Go ahead.
Peace out and woo woo woo, my babies.
And as always, happy computing, Jeff.
And have a great night, and we will talk to you guys very soon.
Thanks a lot for watching our show. See you later, Jeff.
Bye, guys.
See you on the streams.
All right. Bye-bye.